don't try adjusting your monitor, your smartphone, or your tablet. It is, in fact, really dark in here. But watch what happens. Doesn't that feel better? Doesn't that make us feel more comfortable, right? It's unsettling when we're expecting light and there's no light. Now, for kids out there, perhaps the darkness makes you feel really uncomfortable, especially at night. That can be a scary thing. And for adults, I'm sure you can reflect back and remember about times that you were afraid of the dark. Even today, there are still adults that if we're alone and it's dark outside, that can be very unsettling for us. There's something about the absence of light that makes us feel uncomfortable. And I heard a really interesting passage read, and I want to share that with you and a couple others. But the first one we're going to look at is in 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 19, where Peter says this. He says that we have something more sure, the prophetic word, talking about our Bibles, to which you will do well to pay attention as to a lamp shining in a dark place. We pay attention to the light. And if we're not looking directly at the light, perhaps we're reflecting on the effects that it has. You don't see a light that's shining above me, but you see the effects of it. Until the day dawns and the morning star rises in your hearts. Now that's some beautiful imagery there. The day dawns and the morning star rises in your hearts. The light of God starts to shine in our hearts. Put another way, very similarly, Paul says this in 2 Corinthians chapter 4. He says this about the light. He says, in their case, the God of this world has blinded the minds of the unbelievers to keep them from seeing the light of the gospel of the glory of Christ, who is the image of God. For what we proclaim is not ourselves, but Jesus Christ as Lord, with ourselves as your servants for Jesus' sake. For God, who said, "Let light shine out of darkness," has shone in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. Wow, there's a lot to break down there. But what Paul's doing here is it seems he's using a passage back in Genesis about let there be light, let the light shine in the darkness, to talk about how that now God has shone in our hearts. He is the light in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. So God has shone in our hearts so that we might know His Son. Now, here's the question. As Christians, as believers in God, we have this light shining in us. And as I look around the world right now, I'm seeing a lot of people that are in need of light. They need that hope. They need that light shining. They need to be able to see. And the problem, I think, is that we have a lot of problems in our society because of sin. And no matter what position we're looking at, no matter what organizations or whatever, there's still people involved and there's still sin. And so what we see here is God talking about how we have this light shining inside of us. Now, we talked about how unnerving it was with all the darkness. What if we had the opportunity to help to illuminate the world, to help bring that light to the world? Well, Jesus says that we do. We have that opportunity. We are a city set on a hill. We don't hide our lights under a bushel, put another way, right? When God has shone into our hearts, He expects that we are going to shine that out to others. And while people might not see the light, the direct light of God and of Christ, they may not see Him specifically, they see the effects that God has had on us as we shine in this world. And by seeing the effects, and by reading the Word of God, they begin to see Jesus. When people see our lights, they should see Jesus Christ. And you know, the light that we bring might be the only light that they'll ever see. I hope you have a great week, and may we shine the light of Christ as He is shown into our hearts. Have a good one.